What's up, viewers, subscribers, and agents alike? This your boy Enlightened Luciferian Prince coming at y'all once again. If you think I look ridiculous, let me tell y'all something. You motherfuckers getting y'all asses bounced out there over them crates. Y'all look like some fucking genuine idiots. And this ain't for everybody. I know this is a popular trend that everybody's trying to embellish upon and so forth and so on. Do what you do. But please make sure before you get your ass on them crates, you got health care. Man, y'all, these motherfuckers out here is crazy, man. These motherfuckers out here lost their goddamn mind. But anyway, on to more important issues. If you're watching this video around children, I strongly advise you to pause this video and remove them from your immediate vicinity. My videos are not for children. Let's get that straight. All right? Now, title of this video is called William Dungey versus Joseph Spencer. Monumental case, especially for the Moors, not the Moor-ish, for the Moors, who actually know exactly what's going on, how nationality and how personal status is corrected as opposed to nationality according to the Americanized standard. We'll get into it. I know I might get a lot of quote-unquote hate for what I'm getting ready to say, but it's fine. But this video is only for informational and educational purposes only. Simple. And it's called the meeting of the minds, and you don't have to come at me because guess what? I'm not your enemy. The system is. Now, if you got that much energy to go at your enemy, then you do that. But I know a lot of people don't have that energy. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people don't have that tenacity to go after the enemy. So just listen to the energy. And stop trying to be confrontative. Just listen. Because we can meet of the minds if we understand each other. Here we go. Among 10 original Lincoln documents discovered last summer in the DeWitt County Courthouse is a bond of costs in William versus Dungey. Oh, excuse me. Pardon me. I went ahead of myself. The source is papersofAbrahamLincoln.org. I'm going to start over. Among 10 original documents discovered last summer in DeWitt County Courthouse is a bond of costs in William versus Dungey versus Joseph Spencer. Written but not signed by Lincoln. Is a part of an interesting slander case. Family disputes that degenerated into slanderous name-calling feuds frequently appeared in antebellum Illinois records. In circuit courts, such cases reflected the intent of American slander law to safeguard an individual's good reputation in the community against petty character assassination. Abraham Lincoln realized the value of reputation and declared in his first printed political speech that every man is said to have his peculiar ambition. I have no other so great as that of being truly esteemed by my fellow men. One unique slander case Lincoln argued at the DeWitt County Circuit Court in Clinton, Illinois, in the May and October 1855 terms involved much more than a defamation of character, and suggested that Huck Finn's friend Jim might have reconsidered his plan of escape to freedom. I reckon at by 4 in the morning I'd slip by just before daylight and swim ashore and then take to the woods on the Illinois side. Quote, this comes from the excerpt. In August 1851, William Dungey, a dark-skinned young man of Portuguese descent, married Joseph Spencer's sister. A family quarrel ensued. Now, we already know how this happened. Now, I'm going to pause right here and put a little bit of humor in the game because I know that this is some real, genuine BS. Straight up. It was a I can't say it. It was a motherfucker who was dark-skinned who wanted him some goddamn white pussy. Ain't supposed to say it nowadays, 2021. That's the truth. But this is the basis of the case. It's true. And as he dated his sister, he became so bitter. Spencer claimed throughout the community that his brother-in-law, Black Bill, was a Negro. Oh, man. Since 1819, Illinois' laws permitted quasi-slavery and restricted immigration of free blacks into the state. As other northern states passed personal liberty laws granting additional rights to free blacks, Illinois toughened its stance against them. The 1848 Illinois Constitution required the General Assembly to pass, quote, such laws as will effectively prohibit free persons of color from immigrating and settling into this state. Those prohibitions were passed as the Black Laws and went into force on February 12, 1853, the future emancipator's 44th birthday. Ain't that a bitch? William Dungey faced losing not only his reputation, but his marriage with his white wife. Property and right to remain in Illinois, Section 10 of 1853, state law stated that every person who shall have 1/4 Negro blood shall be deemed a mulatto. William Dungey retained Abraham Lincoln to quash the possibility that he might be judged a Negro and therefore suffer the severe penalties under the 1853 Act, which was actually punishable by death. Lincoln filed his declaration charging Joseph Spencer with slander on April 17, 1855, and sought $1,000 in damages. A game of legal chess occurred during the first hearing in May. Spencer's attorneys Clifton H. Moore and Lawrence Weldon filed a demurrer to Lincoln's declaration, asserting that his charges were insufficient in law. Judge David Davis is two first names. Anyway, agreed that two of Lincoln's first three charges were faulty. The case was continued and Lincoln was allowed to amend the declaration. At the term of the next court, October 1855, the case was argued before a jury. According to Lawrence Weldon, Lincoln's statements as a trial lawyer were evident in his argument for Dungey. Weldon stated that Lincoln questioned Spencer's character by demonstrating how Spencer went from house to house, gabbing, means ancient archaic speak, in American tongue, that Dungey was a nigger. I didn't say that. It says it. Weldon emphasized that Lincoln's tone and pronunciation had a curious touch of the ludicrous, which, instead of detracting, seemed to add to the effect. Man, ain't that a bitch? Why people use that still to this day. With no consequence. So, it's fine. Lincoln further undermined Spencer by using humor to persuade the jury that there were reasonable doubt regarding Dungey's race. Weldon recalled Lincoln's statement, quote, my client is not a Negro, though it is a crime to be a Negro. And this was back in 1853 and still is to this day if you are a Negro. That's why I tell my Moors to be a Moor. Stop being a Negro, African American, or considered colored. Because it's a crime by law. Whether you believe it or not, it's still in effect. These laws are amended. They're not changed and they're not abolished. Do your research. You'll understand. His skin may not be white as ours. Well, that might be a reinterpretation. But I say that he is not a Negro, though he may be a Moor. Mr. Lincoln interrupted, Judge Davis scarcely able to restrain a smile. You mean a Moor, not a Moor. Now, Moor, M-O-R-R, not a M-O-R-R-E, such as a surname, which is still the same thing. But I tell people in my video, The 5 Black Presidents, Abraham Lincoln was not a white man. So be careful the sources that you read, because you have to understand that Abraham Lincoln himself was a Moor. Why do you think they place him on the lowest denomination of the coin, which many people disregard? The average person will drop a penny and won't think nothing of it. And if they take a JFK silver piece and drop it on the ground, they'll pick that bitch up. You have to understand, you have to stop letting these people dictate and play with your history, because this is what they do. Abraham Lincoln was not a white man. I'm sorry. He was not a Caucasian. He was not an Edomite, so to speak. He was, quote unquote, melanated. Now, in school, in history, and all this bullshit they told us throughout this bullshit fool system, they give you this picture of this individual who they thought for us to contrive in our imagination to be the president of the United States, the 16th president of the United States, but that's bullshit. I gave you all the facts and the information and sources to read. Take it how you want it. Those who want to be indoctrinated, it's fine. It is what it is. But Abraham Lincoln according to the monetary system, if you look at your penny bank, look at the first thing that you see. Faced oppositionally to the system, as opposed to the silver, which represents the white individuality of the European Merovingian bloodlines. Don't get me started. Lincoln then demolished the defendant's witnesses' testimony. Moore and Weldon had secured several depositions from residents in Giles County, Tennessee. Some people say Giles, but it's different in the South. The Dungey family home. These witnesses stated that they had personally known the family and that the white community had regarded the Dungeys as Negro or of mixed blood, which is mulatto. Under cross-examination, Lincoln argued that the testimony was hearsay as the witnesses admitted none of them lived within 30 miles of the Dungey residence. On October 18, 1855, the jury returned a verdict of guilty and granted Dungey $600 in damages plus costs of $137.50. Lincoln charged a $25 fee, which Lawrence Weldon considered minimal. To avoid an appeal to the Illinois Supreme Court, Lincoln persuaded Dungey to remit $400 of the judgment and return to the defendant, releasing all errors which may exist in the court record. Under Illinois law, the defendant could not appeal the verdict, but could appeal only under errors of procedure or evidence. Lincoln had taught Joseph Spencer an expensive lesson in domestic relations. He taught him an expensive lesson in domestic relations. Leaving off on this point, another source speaks about William Dungey versus Joseph Spencer case. Although historians have used this case to show Lincoln's skill in the courtroom and his keen legal mind, when examined a little closer, it reveals something much more profound: the understanding of race in the 19th century. Dungey, who had a slightly darker complexion than the others in the community, claimed that his family was Portuguese, but he was not. He's a Moor. As a recent scholarship suggests, as this quote from Lincoln reveals, race is socially constructed. To Lincoln, regardless of Dungey's skin color, his Portuguese or Moor's nationality gave Dungey legal and social rights in the community, state, and in the country. And I rest my case. Moors. Not Moorish, to the Moors. To those who try to equivocate themselves to this quote-unquote racist establishment, don't do that. To those who try to equivocate themselves to the racial establishment, you are a Moor. They know who you are. They know. They call you Negro, African American, colored, or even at worst, a nigger. They even have us programmed to the point where we entertain ourselves at that point. Now, we could say it in a satirical sense because guess what? Hey, it's a label. It's just like anything else that goes with the English language, but it has no meaning and definition in anything. I grew up my whole life hearing white people say, nigger means ignorant person. No, it doesn't. An ignoramus is an ignorant person. Or to be ignorant means to be uninformed. It's synonymous. Most people who use the word don't even own it the source. Haven't even been to school, haven't even done anything of higher education, haven't even valued themselves with the higher intrinsic nature of education, but are quick to be emotionally responsive about shit they don't know nothing about. See, I pride myself in my education. You damn right. Because guess what? They didn't teach it to me. I taught myself through the divine wisdom that my Creator gave me. Ain't no education better than that. That's divine wisdom. See, the thing that we have to understand is that they want to limit us to a certain perspective and a certain realm to where they can control the narrative. That's what they've always done. This is one of the reasons why they want to remove critical race theory from schools. But the thing I try to tell a lot of people that are educated, stop being fearful of telling these motherfuckers that I don't want your bullshit poison in my motherfucking goddamn realm. You've lied, and here we have concrete evidence historically that they know who the fuck you are. Stop running around with these BLM t-shirts on. Stop running around parroting behind this bullshit ass political system and become who the fuck you are. Because they know who you are. See, they try to spit terms out there to demean you. Don't demean yourself. Correct your status by making these systematic individuals responsible. See, I've done it for years. Years and years and years, and I will continuously do it. And I do not worry about a motherfucking threat from no angle. Oh, trust me. I don't. Because I know how to handle them legally, and not afraid of these people. They're afraid of you. Y'all are afraid of yourselves, though. Because y'all are letting them define who you are. You're not Moor-ish, you're Moor. They know that they reside on Turtle Island. They know that they're here. They know that they don't belong on this land. They know for a fact that they are the invaders. Sad part is, I said in the previous video, most of y'all sleeping with the invader. Y'all sleeping with their daughter or their brother. They in your house. Good luck. Straight. Now, preferences. People want to be sensitive. It is what it is. But you will pay the price. Because that's the reason why we got in this mess in the first place. See, shout out to all my indigenous people. The ones that stick to their own kind, quote unquote. And build up their own communities. Because, see, whatever happens on socially, it doesn't matter. That's just propaganda to basically make you debase yourself off of somebody else's pretense. Well, fear don't live here. Is what it is. You have to get into this law and get into the law in the genuine context and not the superficial. Some of y'all put this stuff out there on social media and try to convince other people of something that they're not. If they want to be who they want to be, so be it. Be who the fuck you going to be. If you want to be who you're going to be, you have to actualize yourself. Stop trying to convince people of something that they will not even lift a finger to research themselves. Because they will shide you and mock you at every angle. So I'll be like, I try to tell my family to be more. Nah. Because a lot of y'all family members aren't Moors. A lot of y'all family members are mulattoes. Spaniards. Everything other than being the melanated self. And that's the reason why you have to fight for your spiritual and physical longevity as a Moor. Because I don't care what nobody says. When it comes down to it, our genes are the strongest. Period. You can go to Alaska. You can go to the North Pole. You can go to Asia. You go Thailand. You go anywhere. Anywhere you ever desire to plant your seed, guess what color it's going to come out looking like? Oh, I know this might hurt a couple people because now it's got to be a race issue. It's always been a race issue. Always been a race issue. So if I speak on it, yeah, I'm speaking on it from a context of me growing up as of this age and experiencing this from this context. It's always been a race issue. So don't sit here and try to make it an issue about race because you get sensitive. Because guess what? The grand extinction is coming. And whether people believe it or not, shit. The predator is on the way. Why do you think they always be watching space? They are scared as shit because they know for a fact it's over with. Have your fun. Do what you do. And as I can do, I correct my brethren and sisters. My brethren and sisters. Now, all the others, y'all can listen all y'all want. You can have a seat. But the truth is, this is the timing of the essence where you're going to get your reckoning. And see, this is why y'all act so fearful on the enemy side. as how we actualize who we are. I don't give a fuck what you try to do. You cannot stop the inevitable. Oh, and trust me, that Bible that you try to push down our throats for centuries ain't shit. See, we listen to the Akashic record. See what I'm saying? The Metu Neter. You don't have rule over who we are. Remember that. And that's a fact. And then, once we understand the nationality as a group whole, which you tried to stop for a very long time, you'll find out you can't stop anything. You can't. And to all my melanated brothers and sisters, stop focusing on these social distractions and start focusing more in on what's necessary and intrinsic. Get this knowledge. Embed it within your mind. Keep your mouth shut and put it out there into manifestation. Your number one key is to shut the fuck up. Stop trying to tell people about what you got going on. Shut your mouth. Move in silence. Don't say nothing. The impression that knowledge leaves upon your inner being, live it. Don't tell people shit. And if they threaten your estate, you know what to do. You just learned a very significant truth in less than 22 minutes. That's our problem. Keep the enemy out of your space. Keep the enemy out of your space. That is your goal for the primary end of the rest of this year. Keep the enemy out of your space. Mentally, physically, and spiritually. We will win this war, but this war is not won with their mechanism. It's a war of what's in the mind. Trust me. We will win this war, and they know it. Why do you think they do so much, we do so little? Keep doing what you're doing. Your first time viewing this channel, like and subscribe. Agents, you know what it is. Y'all know what it is. Y'all put it all in Hollywood movies and so forth and so on. You know what it is. I don't have to explain nothing to y'all because y'all swear y'all got it all figured out. But there is a divine timing for everything. It is a very divine timing for everything. And you don't have it all figured out as you think you do. But I will tell you, the first wave of extraterrestrials that y'all looking for are already here.